Hello and welcome to another update video about Solana. So Solana's price is still in the range, in the sideways range between 119 and 190 USD. You might argue that this looks a bit like a head and shoulders. However, we're not really at the top, and typically these are top signals. I mean, should have really happened here somewhere. Nevertheless, it has that look, but we are in a range, right? We're in a range, and the pressure is rather down on the Solana chart. Or what I mean with that is rather corrective. Price action is rather corrective. I think that is what we can agree on. We are either in a sideways correction in a wave 4, which is not yet finished, or we are in a larger wave 4 as a ABC or WXY structure. ABC or WXY. Which also should keep the pressure down. So in all three scenarios, I've added the orange one, and I've added the microstructure for the white count. In all of these scenarios, we're in a wave 4, and in all of these scenarios, we're in a correction. So the most bullish one being that triangle pattern, which I need to get invalidated first to really be able to focus on the other ones. But I can already tell you that with price action overnight, and the move down to $119, which is very close to the invalidation point of the range or of the triangle itself, the move down has become more likely. So it depends on what you want to, which perspective you want to take, but there are a few key levels I think that are worth talking about. So in terms of the Elliott wave triangle, this doesn't really have the right look anymore for a C wave, in my opinion. Okay, so the triangle, I think, has reduced in likelihood in favor of the other two. Why? Because this here looked still good as a C wave, but now with that additional low, it's a bit difficult. Surely we might say, okay, maybe the C wave ended here and there's some kind of a flat structure, but that, we can discuss about all that kind of, there are so many micro counts possible in these corrections. It's not so important. What really matters is the $119 level. I tried to make that clear over recent weeks. This is really the key risk level. So this is really the key level that determines whether we are in a triangle or not, whether we can keep that perspective or not. Any sustained break below $119 would indicate that we are heading down in either the orange wave Y of a larger fourth wave. Actually, this might only take us to sort of the area around $108. Yeah. Or a bit lower, but let's first see if 119 breaks. Then we can talk about orange or the white count, which is actually more bearish. But I would first, again, want to check how the market reacts to the relevant pivots in the orange scenario. That means, really, it's either holding 119 or not. There's a very, very clear level, very well defined, and that's the invalidation point. And as long as this is holding, it's plausible to watch for a D-wave rally into the region between roughly $161 to $174. Please be aware that triangles, first of all, they morph a lot. They change structure a lot. I've been saying that a lot, and that's also what the triangle does. That's just, for educational purposes, just part of what the triangle does. It's a corrective structure with corrective waves in the subwave structures, and these corrections change a lot. And bear in mind that any corrective wave can consist of more than like 12 different patterns. There are more than 12 corrective patterns, I think, in Elliott wave, and all of these could, take place in any of these corrective waves, like wave A, B, C, D, E. So that's important. Below $119, yeah, we watch for the Y wave, and where could that send us? Well, we can determine the fibs for that. We take the length of the wave W, we go to the high of the X wave, and then it takes us here to round about 108 to possibly $86 down there. Let me move that across. Yeah, so this would be a target zone for wave Y. Okay, can add that wave Y targets, which means that below wave or below $86, it becomes more likely that we're actually in the C wave, right? It just depends on the microstructure which is playing out. The bottom line is this could easily be a WXY, where we have an A, B, C in wave Y. And in the white count, however, we're only starting wave 3 of C. But again, that's not preferred until we see further evidence for that. Because there are pivots before, right? We just need to watch these pivots and see if the market can sort of form a 1-2 setup to the upside. Then we have a low, regardless of which scenario it is. But what this context gives us is the relevant pivots. Now, in the very short term, I clearly can tell you there is no 5-wave move from the low, but we don't need one because we're in a triangle. So the triangle D wave could just be a corrective rally. We don't need 5 waves up. Just use the $119 level as key level for upside. But from a bearish point of view, this here is the top there at around $154, $154.70. That's the key level that would invalidate the orange count as it is. Because in the orange scenario, I would call that A, B, C. Again, the micro isn't very clear for the orange count, but any break above that B wave would sort of invalidate the orange count as it is. So it's expect a more, sort of erratic and chaotic price action. We've been talking about that. We've been warning about that because there is no clear trend here, though, no clear uptrend. This is just sort of sideways action, which might break down further, and then we have the next levels to watch there. All I can share with you, I have no confirmation for a low, but from a reward to risk point of view to trade the range, I mean, we're now at a high reward, low risk area here, close to that $119 level. But generally, obviously, there's a lot of downside pressure at the moment in crypto. So just keep it, just have your risk management spot on when you're at the moment trading long. Short as well, because we've declined already a lot, right? So it's not great reward to risk from a short point of view. At the same time, I don't think there are clear long trade setups now, unless you just sort of trade here the range, but that's highly speculative. But there's a clear invalidation point, so, it's reasonable. That's just my take on Solana. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.